Cody Campbell. Now the sole evil plaguing the sport. Brendan Sorsby can't do the right thing when the team's in the locker room with him. Ken Paxton. Real class act, that guy is. Start off on a funny note. Brian Kelly isn't even a good enough coach to get paid for his consulting abilities. It just popped up on my social media feed that Brian Kelly has now been hired as an unpaid consultant with the Memphis University Tigers. He's such a bad coach, they can't even pay him for his services in Memphis. Let me get this straight. Right before I come on, my phone pops up from a notification from something, and it says, Brian Kelly has a new job in the South. And I went, excuse me? Pull up unpaid consultant from the University of Memphis. You got to love it. You got to love it. I'm sure he's getting the unpaid job so that he can still get his buyout from LSU, by the way. Real class act, that guy is. Anyways, welcome into the show today. But before we get into all that, please, everyone, do me a favor. If you haven't already, please like the stream, subscribe to the channel. It helps me out a bunch. Please go to X and follow both accounts with PaulJared16, now Walk It Off Talk. If you haven't seen it on X already, you have people posting photos of their pick-to-click prizes coming in. Make sure you're following those. Pick-to-click will happen for football season. Like I said last night, that behind me is one of your pick-to-click prizes that will be coming up for football season. Also, go follow the Instagram. It's at Walk It Off Talk. Go follow the TikTok. It's at Walk It Off Talk as well. Go give me a follow. So now we get that out of the way. We got to talk about the Texas Tech tortilla taints. I'm sorry. Tortilla taints is something Tiger Bob's put in my head earlier. It's been stuck in my head. We got to talk about the Texas Tech Red Raiders and Brendan Sorsby. Again, unfortunately, it just so happens every day the people surrounding this scandal with Brendan Sorsby do something else stupid, and they can't stop putting their foot in their mouth, and they can't stop just giving more content. But this is not even content I want to cover. I would rather cover the transfer portal, the baseball roster, the football roster coming up, talk to different people around the programs, around the sport. I'm not talking about good things, but I feel like I have to talk about Brendan Sorsby and this betting scandal. But we're going to look at it a different kind of way tonight. Look, I understand Brendan Sorsby is like the epicenter of this scandal, and he has been getting flamed from every which way. And after talking with Zach and David last night, I kind of I reframed my thought on the whole situation, and I'm going to explain to you like this. Yes, there are some things that we have to lay out before we get into this deeper conversation. Brendan Sorsby not only broke the cardinal rule of athletics. Brendan Sorsby purposefully broke the cardinal rule of athletics, but he illegally placed bets on sport events he was involved in and he wasn't involved in. And when I say he did it illegally, we all have forgotten, even I have forgotten to a point, Brendan Sorsby was underage while he did this. Not only did Brendan Sorsby break the law, a federal law, his brother-in-law broke the law by aiding and abetting a minor and placing sports gambling wagers. Furthermore, Brendan Sorsby is being covered by this addiction cloth and this poor excuse to bring sympathy to the young man. I'll tell you this. I care more about the probable extinction of the North African moth than I do about his so-called addiction and him going to rehab. Again, spare me with the rehab story. It's all a fugazi. It's all a mirage. It's all fairy dust. It's not true. It's not true. Like I stated last night on the stream with Go Deep Dive with Zach and David. If you were so worried about his mental health, if you were so passionate about getting this young man the help he needs, how do you know he's coming back in week 3? And why are you going the lengths you're going to make sure he can come back in week 3, if not week 1? Because I'm at the point now where if he's going to play in week 1, he might as well play in week 3, rather. He might as well play in week 1. There is no difference. Brendan Sorsby not only placed wagers on games that he was involved in and on the roster for, there is now evidence declaring that Brendan Sorsby more than likely not only placed wagers on his team in a negative fashion, placing wagers on his starting quarterbacks under in yards, under in points, under in rushing yards. He did it at halftime of those games. He was in the locker room between halves, placing wagers and or texting his brother-in-law, whoever associate he had making these wagers for him, his bets. Using insider knowledge, prophetically, he has to be, because he's hearing the game plan and what they're going to do. And we've always talked about coaches and teams don't make adjustments really at halftime. They may shift their game plan, but they're not big, huge adjustments. So he's talking about, okay, we're going to go more to a running game. We're going to go more to a passing game. Hey, take the under on rushing yards. We're not running the ball as much today. Our running back has like a torn up ankle or he's got a little bum knee. We're going to start throwing the ball more. Take the under in rushing yards. That's the things he was doing at halftime. These are indisputable facts about the case against Brendan Sorsby. But like I've always told you guys, these are kids. They make mistakes. They're going to continue to make mistakes. I've made my piece on Brendan Sorsby clear. It is undeniable. I think the young man should not be able to participate in college athletics ever again. I don't think he should be suspended. I don't think he should be expelled from college athletics. I won't go as far to say bring criminal charges against him and his brother-in-law. I won't go that far. It's a mistake. It's a victimless crime, you hope. Because what the nuts and bolts of this to the end is, what is to stop this from turning into a situation where a college athlete throws a game and tarnishes the integrity of athletics? I can't remember the name of the documentary now, but I remember watching a documentary about a basketball player from Arizona State in the 90s who was throwing games, and he how'd he put it? He didn't go to lose a game, but he would adjust his point totals. He would adjust what other players got point totals to affect lines and affect bets for people and for himself. That man spent years in jail, spent years in prison. He was locked up. He was found guilty on his crimes. I cannot say with any type of evidence that Brendan Sorsby did that. We also cannot forget, this didn't die at Indiana. This continued at Cincinnati. Indiana and Cincinnati also need to be held accountable for sweeping this under the rug. They're not innocent in this. Those coaches and those programs knew. I don't care what they tell you. They knew. Their job is to know everything that goes on with these players in their program. They knew. If you have kids, my kids are young. They can't lie to me. Even if they try to lie to me, I know they're lying. Same goes on for athletes in your program. Now that my blood pressure is starting to rise, and we are all reminded of the indisputable facts regarding Brendan Sorsby and this betting scandal, it's time for me to speak about the adults that are supposed to be in the room. Joey McGuire, Cody Campbell to start. Joey McGuire, the head coach of the Texas Tech football program. There's been an argument behind Joey McGuire saying he's merely protecting a player of his. As a head coach who walks into living rooms and sits with parents, attempting to convince them that not only is your child going to be safe at this university that I'm bringing them to, they will also get the tools and the education needed to succeed in life. And they will add to boot, they will not only arrive a boy, they will leave a man. They will leave a man. You're a hypocrite, Joey McGuire. You are a hypocrite. You are purposely allowing a young man not to face his consequences for not only his actions in placing bets, but also breaking the law. Every university, Every corporation, military branch, etc., has a code of ethics that are supposed to drive your actions in, how would I put it? To drive your actions in decision making, day-to-day life, as well as build traits within you that allow you to not only be an exceptional example of yourself, but of the organization you present. Texas Tech's not any different in this. They also have a code of ethics. And I wanted to prove that to you. So what I'm going to do right now, right here, is the code of ethics for Texas Tech University. Now, this is for the University of Health Sciences Center. You get the gist. This is basically going to be copy and pasted throughout Texas Tech University. I talked about this last. Check out that podcast if you haven't already. This is their code of ethics. And I want to highlight some things. One team, unite to achieve our mission. Well, the way Cody Campbell and Joey McGuire and other individuals are acting, they're uniting as one team. Be kind-hearted. Exceed expectations with a kind heart, helping hands, and a positive attitude. They're being kind-hearted to Brendan Sorsby. They are being kind-hearted. Assume good intentions. There are no good intentions in gambling. Listen first to understand. I don't think to listen to anybody. Treat all consistency and compassion with I can't read. Treat all consistently with compassion and dignity. Acknowledge each other with courtesy. Respond rather than react. This is the one right here I want to highlight for everybody right here. Integrity. Integrity. Be honorable and accountable even when no one is looking. Be honest regardless of the outcome. Make ethical choices in every decision. Build trust by modeling respect and honoring commitments. Be transparent in your purpose, expectations, and actions. Protect and conserve institutional resources. Those are the ethics that Joey McGuire walks into parents' living rooms with and tells them, hey, let your kid come to Texas Tech. We're going to make them a man. Integrity is our call word. Integrity. And they have the definition of integrity in the gist of it perfect. Do the right thing when no one is looking. Do the right thing when no one is looking. It's that simple. Brendan Sorsby can't do the right thing when the team's in the locker room with him and you want to sit there and protect him. It's simple. It's really simple. Joey McGuire, you are a hypocrite. Woe to you. Woe to you, Joey McGuire. I'm tired of hearing you compare things and trying to just grandstand for this child. You are a hypocrite, and I hope your actions follow you into every living room you step into. That's my piece on Joey McGuire. Cody Campbell. The serpent in this scenario. And yes, I use the word serpent for a reason. A man who has been heralded in the past for wanting to fix what is wrong with college athletics and is now the sole evil plaguing the sport. A lot of people don't know this. The president of the United States. Hey, Cody Campbell, you right there. You're going to fix college athletics. I want you to spearhead this. That was done. We're not getting into whether or not you like Donald Trump or whatever like that. I'm just creating a pure image to show you he was isolated. He was singled out to be the person to fix these problems. He was being heralded as a person who could fix these problems. Amanda Atwell and Billy Lucci of the Moving Goalpost podcast summed up Cody Campbell pretty significantly today. So I'm going to let Amanda say her piece and speak for how we all feel about Cody Campbell.
I don't applaud him for anything at this point. I think it's all done selfishly. Yeah. He doesn't give a shit about the sport. He gives a shit about Texas Tech and moving forward Texas Tech's what works for them. If this was happening at the University of Texas or at Texas A&M, he would be the first on the mic to just spew his utter disdain and say that Arch Manning or Marcel Reed should be banned for life, and this is just an affront to the NCAA's credibility. I don't buy it for a second that he gives a shit about anything else other than Texas Tech, which fine, but don't sit here on your high horse and act like you care about the NCAA's integrity. You don't, and it's so obvious.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what to say to that other than.
Sorry, I had to go on a rant.
No, you're
that
good.
Guy has pissed me off. Just the gaslighting. He's
like, glad it's not me.
Like the worst man you've ever dated, gaslighting the shit out of you, telling you something that you know is not true, and just standing on it. Acting like you're crazy for thinking otherwise.
And what? Yeah, that's a good analogy.
I'm sure most of you have seen that clip today. Thank you to Amanda Atwell and Billy Lucci for allowing me to use that clip to express these feelings, because I've been doing this for 3 nights now, and my heart can't really take it. Cody Campbell has dug his own grave when it comes to showing his ignorance and his loss of integrity. But now he is starting to drag other people into his pit of misery. And now, lurking from the shadows, Ken Paxton, the Attorney General in the state of Texas. Cody Campbell is now, through his connections, which we're going to talk about in a little bit, drug in the Attorney General of the state of Texas. Here's a little background on Ken Paxton. Ken Paxton graduated from Baylor University, and then he later graduated from the University of Virginia Law School. After graduating, he would go work for a law firm, and he would be the in-house counsel for a corporation named, I think, J.C. Penney. How's J.C. Penney doing right now? Has anybody been to J.C. Penney lately? Don't worry, I know you haven't. Let's see how well his counsel worked for J.C. Penney, right? Ken Paxton, came out today, Ken Paxton sent a memo to the Big 12 expressing his thoughts and opinions on the recent meetings and discussions of holding Texas Tech and Brennan Sorsby accountable for their actions. I've read through this memo, and we're going to bring it up here right now, and I've highlighted some things to bring to light for you. I'm going to bring up my copy on my computer because that is really, really small. So this is the first page in the memo from Ken Paxton. At the top, I highlighted his name, Attorney General of Texas, to just reiterate what I was telling you about his title. First highlighted section. We are aware that the Big 12 is considering invoking bylaw 3.6 of the Big 12's bylaws to sanction Texas Tech for respecting the order and continuing its support of Mr. Sorsby as a student athlete. This letter serves to notify the Big 12 that any such action will be unlawful and will expose the conference to substantial liability. Any sanction against Texas Tech for acting consistent with the order would be a per se violation of federal and state antitrust laws, a naked horizontal agreement among competitors to disadvantage Texas Tech by cutting off access to resources it needs to compete. Let's talk about that real quick. So this is going back to their, oh, they just don't want us to succeed comment. They're just scared of us having an advantage on the field or being able to do anything. We're getting better, and they can't stand it. Nobody cares. I can tell you many shows that I watched on a daily basis this past season who were rooting for you. You were kind of the Cinderella story. You had the linebacker who, told he couldn't do it, and he did it. You were the little guy coming up to beat the big guys. That's all it was. No one was against you. People celebrated when you got Brennan Sorsby. Texas Tech has a chance to go to a national championship. They're going to run away with the Big 12. By the way, I said this in Babin's chat earlier. I want to say it again. Saying you're the best team in the Big 12 is like saying that's my prettiest cousin. It doesn't matter. The Big 12 is not the Big 10. It's definitely not the SEC. There's 2 conferences that win national championships in the last, decade to 15 to 20 years. Big 10 and SEC. Tell me the last time a Big 12 team won a national championship. Don't worry. I'll wait. Let's go on to the next page. All right. Again, let me pull up my copy because that's way too small for my old eyes. And again, the stuff I'm not highlighting or talking about really is more or less legalese and lawyer speak. We're not going to get into that. Oh, I'll talk about this in a minute. So, beyond its antitrust exposure, the Big 12 would also face liability for breach of contract and tortious interference. Any sanction that results in the cancellation, forfeiture, or alteration of Texas Tech's as scheduled games would constitute a breach of the Big 12's contractual obligations to Texas Tech. Additionally, any action that disrupts or interferes with Texas Tech's existing or potential contracts associated with its football team, including sponsorship arrangements, ticket sale commitments, alumni contributions, and other commercial relationships would give rise to claims for tortious interference with existing or prospective contractual relations. Up here, a part I didn't highlight, but I want to read real quick. It's the last line of the paragraph above. The total exposure for both the Big 12 and its members, joint and severally, will be substantially more than $200 million. The last highlighted part. Should the Big 12 seek to sanction Texas Tech for acting consistent with the order, Texas Tech will pursue all legal avenues to protect its interests and those of Texas Tech student athletes. Please distribute this letter to the Big 12 board of directors. Sincerely, Thomas York, who is probably the lawyer who wrote that up for the Attorney General. Now, reading that, and there's a section in this that I'm gonna repeat for you real quick because it kind of made my ears perk up a little bit. It says right here, including sponsorship arrangements, ticket sale commitments, alumni contributions, and other commercial arrangements would give rise for claims of tortious interference. Now, what they did in this memo is tell the Big 12, hey, even if our alumni look at what Brendan Sorsby and what we are doing as terrible for the sport of college football, if they decide to pull their funds, we're blaming you for that. If sponsors look at this, like for instance, I should have checked this. What if they're sponsored by FanDuel, DraftKings, whatever other ones they got? I don't gamble. If they go, hey, we can't be associated with Brendan Sorsby, we're pulling it. Big 12's fault. We're going to sue them for that money. That's what they just did. It's pretty simple. And boy. Okay. Before we go any further into that, discussing his opinions with Ken Paxton, let's look at something else. And what I'm about to pull up here is, I want to, disclaimer. It's merely a theory legally. What I'm about to pull up is me merely expressing a theory I legally have the right to as a citizen and as a veteran of these United States of America. I have to say that before I bring this up. Oh, wrong page. So I got this earlier. Right here is a look into campaign contributions to Ken Paxton for Senate. And right here, if you look at the left side, a last name you see happen pretty frequently. Now, I will explain this. The dollar amounts, because those are probably limits to what you can donate to a political cause in the state of Texas or federally. So the surname on the end of those names seems to be pretty common, I must say. Again, merely a theory. As a citizen and as a United States Army veteran of these United States of America, I am allowed to have as a First Amendment right. Jesus. The fact I have to say that is insane. Cody Campbell, Joey McGuire, and now the top law enforcement arm in the state of Texas are trying to place the Big 12, the NCAA, and you, the fan, in a vice. They've attempted to make Brendan Sorsby the victim, feel sorry for him. He's got an addiction. It's not his fault. And when that didn't work, they turned the tables and blamed you. They blamed you and said you're overreacting. If this happened anywhere else, it wouldn't be a big deal. Invoking LSU, which I will remind you, we have precedent for this in Baton Rouge. Kayshon Boutte. Kayshon Boutte, after the 2022 season, was going to return for his senior year and play with Jaden Daniels. He got caught up in a gambling scandal and decided to enter the draft. So there's your precedent, guy. You can't use that excuse anymore. You can't do it. You can't invoke other crimes to be associated with this. Because, all right, if an athlete speeds, we'll call out Georgia. They get caught speeding time and time and time again. Okay, punish them. That's that. Cool. If you want us to punish Brent Sorsby by arresting him and arresting his co-conspirators for enabling a minor the ability to play sports bets, I'm sure there's people who do that. But you'll protect them in the state of Texas. You can't evoke that because what you're doing at the basis of this is you're compromising the integrity of the games. You're compromising the fact that you can turn on a game and watch it and know that it's ethical and you're letting what's happened on the field. Referees already messed it up as it is, and you can't have players placing bets. And I'll say this, I don't care if Brent Sorsby was placing bets on the Reds or on a basketball team. You can't do it in college football. You can't do it against your own team. Period. This memo being sent from the top law enforcement arm, and what I mean by that when I say the top law enforcement arm is this. The Attorney General is the top law enforcement arm in the state of Texas. The Attorney General, if, say, for instance, you get arrested in Houston, you go to a bar, you get in a bar fight in Houston, whatever, cops come up, they say, hey, we're going to put you in the drunk tank, let you go the next day. If the Attorney General gets that across his desk and decides, oh, no, put a warrant out for his arrest, he can do that. He supersedes all law enforcement, state law enforcement in the state of Texas, even federal law enforcement in certain scenarios. Getting the top law enforcement arm in the state of Texas involved in this, you already had the U.S. Senate involved with Ted Cruz, but now you're getting the Attorney General involved. I don't know where to go from here. I'm at a loss for words. I don't understand how somebody cannot look at this and say, this is wrong. Period. At the end of the day, people like Cody Campbell, these it's not even a bash on the rich people. It's people of influence getting their grubby little fingers into the sports we all love and hold, because this will affect basketball, this will affect baseball, this will affect women's basketball. Hell, this will affect tennis and track and whatever else you want to say, gymnastics. It won't be isolated to football. Football is just the biggest moneymaker. But if you give somebody an inch, you're going to take a mile. And it's not against the rich people. It's turning the decision-making away from people who don't understand, can't spell what football is, and think you use a baseball bat in football. Those type of people, what ruins the sport. And I'm begging somebody, anybody, step up and do the right thing. Brandon Sorsby, you can do the right thing. Just say, no, I'm done. If you love college football, if you love football in general, do the right thing. Somebody put an end to this. Because now, say, for instance, a university in the Big 12 cannot make their own decision in not playing Texas Tech. They can't do it. If a non-conference school wants to cancel their game with Texas Tech, they can't do it now because it's going to lead to a lawsuit for the Big 12. And I don't care about the Big 12. It's NCAA football in general as a whole is being ruined due to these actions.